by power chain rule, day 3. Okay. All right, so the premise here, and I know we only have like 22 minutes, so it's like, whoo, gotta get really going to it. The premise here is that the U substitution with non-power functions. And what I mean by non-power functions is that we're going to have trig as well as transcendentals. And by transcendentals, I'm referring to e to the x or natural log of x type of functions. All right. So, but with these substitutions, remember that we just need to differentiate u to get du, and as such, all problems still end as last step to integrate and then resubstitute the integral of ku to the n du. So everything is still going to end today as ku to the n du. So that's the important piece. Tomorrow we're actually going to integrate trig functions. All right. But for right now, all your integrations, all your integrals are ku to the n still. So if you've done your work correctly, you will see some constant times u to the n. And of course, please note that the k is going to be different for every problem, and the n will be different for every problem, but the integral of u du parts will stay the same. So let's look at an example. So the first example is the integral of e to the 2x square root of e to the 2x minus 5 dx. Now, this function, it looks much more confusing, but there's the same property, right? I see two functions of x. And when I see two functions of x, especially when they're not polynomial, it almost always means, and when I say two functions, I mean multiplied. So we have a function of x multiplied or divided. When I see that, it tells me that I need to use U-substitution. So let's just go through the process. We don't really have to jump really into a lot of other information. If you just say, oh, I need to use U-substitution. Okay, well, like we said last time, let's first clean it up before we do that, right? This is the integral of e to the 2x, parentheses, e to the 2x minus 5 to the 1/2 power dx. All right, what's my u?
E 2x negative 5.
Minus 5. Yes. And therefore, what's du?
E 2x.
What's du?
E to the 2x dx.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Don't, when you like are dealing with e, you first copy it down and then you multiply by the So wouldn't it be 2x?
Mm-mm.
It wouldn't. 2xe?
Mm.
It'd be just times 2 then?
Times 2. The derivative of 2x. And those kind of mistakes, those kind of things of missing that 2 times 2, if it's not just not having it entirely, thinking that it's a 2x, those little simple things are the difference between you get the whole entire problem correct and you get none of the problems correct. It's automatically a 0 if you can't get that part. So your differentiation is still very important, especially in this type of work. If you make a mistake and you forget a simple thing like you forgot the 2, then your whole answer is wrong. It's a multiple choice problem, basically. So you got to make sure you do that. What do I do next? What do I do next?
What if 1/2 du equals e to the 2x dx?
Perfect. And there's my e to the 2x dx part right there. So I'm happy with that. I got that covered. So now this becomes what?
1/2 integration sign, and then u to the power of 1/2 du.
Perfect. Like I said, and now everything always gets to the same spot at the very end. And our last steps are now just integrate u to the 3/2, so 2/3 plus c. Therefore, the 2's cancel each other out, and I get 1/3. And I replace it back, a to the 2x minus 5 to the 3/2 power plus the constant of integration. So those last steps still the same. So what I'm trying to show you here is that the process, what we do, is still the same. All right, now we got to make sure we know how to take derivatives, not just of power functions. So you've been having to only take the derivative of a constant, a linear function, or taking the derivative of some power functions. And practicing those derivatives and making sure that you get them correct is vital. Really, in terms of the AP exam, if you can take a good derivative, if you can take a good integral, and you have good algebraic skills, as long as you can recognize what the question is asking, you should be able to pass this exam very easily. Of course, if you make a lot of little mistakes, this exam eats you alive and you can't even get a 2. That's how the reality of the calculus exam. If you have problems differentiating, if you have problems integrating, if you have problems solving equations and using algebra, if you have any of those 3 major issues, if there's a major issue in any of those 3 components, typically you do not have a chance to pass the exam. Okay, so we got to make sure we shore all of that up. Let's do another example. The integral of cosine of x over sine squared x dx. What do you think I got to do?
Make it calculus friendly.
Good. So I'm going to rewrite this as what?
Cosine of x times, it'll be your sine of x to the power of -2.
I'm gonna make sure make sure when you write it like this, all right, or use a big parentheses. I didn't have to add those parentheses for cosine x. I personally feel comfortable. But if you can rewrite this problem like this, I think you should know what you need to do for the rest of the problem. We've spent multiple days doing this. I should feel confident now. What do I do?
Now your baby would be sine of x.
So du.
Okay, now your derivative would be cosine of x.
Dx.
And it would be dx.
Yep. And so now that gives me
your integration sign, and then you have, let's see, u to the power of -2.
perfect.
And then du. Oh yeah.
Perfect. And now we can just finish the problem. It just becomes like any normal problem now. parentheses u to the negative 1 plus c, which gives me negative sine of x to the negative 1 plus c, which is also negative what trigonometric relationship? Because we're not going to see this most likely as an answer. So what is the trigonometric relationship of sine negative 1? The reciprocal of sine is?
Cosine?
No.
Wait, the reciprocal of sine.
Cosecant. Oh, if you took the derivative of cosecant, if you took the derivative of negative cosecant, you would have gotten positive cosecant cotangent. This is the same thing as cosecant of x cotangent of x. And so it makes sense that when I got here, this was my answer, because right here. But of course, you're not going to memorize those type of parts. You're just going to go through the processes. But I want you to know that this is the same relationship here as cosecant times cotangent, and negative cosecant, the derivative of negative cosecant gives you that. I mean, like I said, you don't memorize that. Okay, 10 minutes. Beginning process, same. I just want to point this part out because sometimes you do all the work correct, you get this, and you look at your multiple choice options, you're like, it's not there. Now, it doesn't happen all the time, okay? But like I said, they like to make sure that they like to test you with the trigonometric skills or algebraic skills oftentimes in places that you didn't expect, especially on multiple choice. In our final example today, the integral of natural log cubed x over x dx. What do I do?
Okay, so you do
Calc friendly, perfect. And you see a pattern coming out on these problems. Calc friendly typically is how these problems are all going to be needed to be done. Very rarely are any of these problems written exactly how you'd want them. So I get the integral of what?
Is it natural log 3x multiplied by x to the negative 1?
Close.
would it be ln x to the power 3?
Maybe. I need.
Or all of the same parentheses.
There we go. Okay, so you just want to do that piece right there. And that's more so for, like I said, so that we can really see what we need to do. And you need to realize just in terms of notation that natural log cubed x really means natural log of x, everything cubed. And then I heard x to the negative 1 dx. Two function of x's? Oh, means I need to use U-substitution. So my u is...
Would it be your ln x?
Natural log, yeah.
Yeah. What's du?
1 over x?
So sorry, Frida, what was that you said? Frida, what did you say?
Oh, I said I couldn't hear you.
Oh, Ariana?
1 over x?
So it's 1 over x, and so here's the thing about this one. So it's 1 over x, but it's also, we can just say x to the negative 1, right? dx. And this is 1 over x, and you got to remember that this was 1 over x. So it really depends on how you have simplified it to, you know, oftentimes when I rewrite this, I would have rewritten this as, and I'm not going to write it down all the way. I write it as natural log of x to the third power times 1 over x dx. And the reason why I do it this way is just because I like the derivative ln of x as being 1 over x. But they really are the same thing. As long as you can recognize, and even if you wrote this as 1 over x, as long as you can recognize that that's just my du, then you're set. That gives me
your integration sign, and then u to the power of 3 du.
good. And we finished a problem like we finish all these problems. Parentheses, u to the 4th, 1/4 plus c, which is 1/4 natural log of x to the 4th power plus c. If you want to write it a little bit nicer, you could have said ln 4x over 4 plus c. And that's what I have for you today. Your homework is basically a lot of examples where you'll see e, natural logs, or some type of trig. You need to make sure that you can clean it up using the algebra and then make a substitution. Please make sure that you are following up with your virtual study sessions. If you have not signed up, it's not too late. Sign them up, get to them. It's for your benefit. I mean, we're close. We're getting closer and closer to passing this exam, to the exam date. Don't take your foot off the pedal now. There's been a lot of people who have fallen by the wayside, as I can well say. You have thrived and gotten, put through in the work for this course. Make sure you do everything you can to make it pay off in the end. Have a good rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow.